Welcome to In the Kitchen with Beautifully Fed Food and WorkWell. We're so excited that the series has come back again. This is week number 2, so I'll tell you a little bit about Beautifully Fed Food, and then Marissa can give you more of the lowdown on WorkWell and this particular program. So Beautifully Fed Food, we're a collective of women of color dedicated to eliminating health disparities through food. So making sure that diseases like COVID and heart disease and diabetes don't impact Black and Brown people differently than any other population. So we're working to like really kind of harness the healing powers of food and making sure that we're all aware of what we can do to protect ourselves and to be healthy. All right, so so that's Beautifully Fed Food, and we're really excited to be with you once again. I'm Karen. I will be teaching some of these cooking classes. Today I am Fiona's sous chef, and I'll be assisting with, spotlighting you when you're in your kitchen cooking. I want to see you, Gabby, when you're making the soup. I'm going to want us to come into everybody's kitchen. So that'll be my role here today. So feel free to ask questions. We want this to be as engaging as possible. And I'll turn it over to Fiona, and then
I'm just going to say a quick hello. Hi, everybody. So I am also with Beautifully Fed Food. I have been on the other side of the camera for most of these. And so this is my first time leading this particular group. And so I'm so super, super duper excited to see Ava and Amani and all the folks that I've been on the other side of the camera talking to, as well as all of the newcomers. I'm so glad to meet all of you and to cook with you this evening. As we mentioned, we would love for you to have your camera on. I love engagement. I love to talk. I'm going to be chatting your head off during this session tonight. So please talk back. Let's have a great time cooking together. And I'm so thankful that WorkWell gave us this opportunity. And so I'm going to turn it over to Marissa so she can tell you a little bit more about WorkWell.
All right. Well, thank you. We're so glad at WorkWell to have Beautifully Fed as a partner and have Fiona and Karen on board with us for another round of cooking classes. I think you hit the nail on the head, Karen, when you said it's about helping to reduce health disparities through food and so much more. WorkWell NYC really wants to help all city employees kind of live their best life, and a lot of that is through food. And so we're really excited to bring you this series of healthy cooking demos that have some really delicious recipes. And I will, invite you all, if you have any questions about WorkWell, our programming, put it in the chat. But I want to hand it over to Fiona so we can get cooking.
Right?
Yes, I am ready to get started, everybody. So we are making soup tonight, and I'll be honest with you. So I had a recipe, I sent it over to WorkWell, and after we did that pizza last week, I was like, you know what, we need to zhuzh this recipe up a little bit. Because I will admit to you that I am all about simple and delicious. Whereas for those of you who were here last week, Karen is all about the fancy, right? So I was like, let's make our soup just a little bit fancier, but still simple and delicious. So let us get started. If you are cooking with us, hopefully you have chopped your ingredients, because we did mention that certain things should be chopped, minced, diced, whatever the case may be. So I have my onions and my garlic and all of these initial ingredients chopped. So I'm going to go ahead and get them started in my saucepan that you see on my stove. So if you're cooking, please do go ahead and get your oil in your pan. I'm using coconut oil and I'm using unrefined coconut oil in particular, because that really enhances the flavor of the coconut to come through in the soup. But I'm curious to know, are you using coconut oil? Did you decide to swap that out? What kind of oil are you going to use with this recipe?
Talk to us.
Yeah, let us know. Do you like coconut oil? There's a lot of controversy related to coconut oil. Some people think that it's not good for you. Other people feel like it's a superfood and it's going to be like the savior of all of life. So what's your take on coconut oil? I like it. I love the flavor of coconut. So I use it whenever I can, particularly in a recipe like this that has a coconut flavor. The oil really enhances that. Talk to me. Who's using coconut oil?
Fiona, I have a question. Can you tell folks about the difference between refined and unrefined coconut oil?
Absolutely. So
And
unrefined
my
coconut
husband
oil.
would need to.
Yeah, so unrefined coconut oil will be unprocessed or minimally processed. So you'll still maintain that very rich coconut taste in the unrefined coconut oil. And then you'll also maintain, you know, again, there's controversy around it, but whatever kind of real nutritional benefits that are in the coconut oil will be maintained more so in the unrefined because it's going to be less processed. So refined coconut oil, that's where it's very processed. It's stripped of most of the nutritional value. It's stripped of the flavor, of the taste, which I'm like, I'm not going to use coconut oil if that's the case. I want the flavor. I want the taste. I want the smell. And I want all the nutritional value that comes along with it. So that's why I love coconut oil. If you haven't tried it, give it a try, you know, unless again, you have some sort of specific doctor's orders not to use it. But it's delicious. So I say give it a go.
Ooh. I see some people asking about how much coconut oil. Does everybody have the recipe? I'm going to go ahead and put the recipe in the chat. In the meantime, Fiona, if you could tell folks how many tablespoons of coconut oil are we using?
So 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Thank you very much. Oh, I have another sous chef. I love it. Karen.
I love it. Who is that? I can relax.
Hi, Esther. Good to see you back.
Have the recipe side by side.
Nice.
Yay.
Okay, so to my 2 tablespoons, I'm letting that warm up, and then I am going to add my onions. I just have about a cup of onions in my 2 little sauce containers here. And I'm gonna drop just 1 little piece of onion in there to see if it's, my oil is ready to go. So I'm on a medium-high heat. You can hear that sizzle. Nice.
I heard the sizzle.
You heard the sizzle, yeah.
Fiona, somebody was saying that she thought that the coconut controversy was about the skincare benefits. She didn't realize that it was about cooking.
Yeah, I mean, because people say that coconut oil is still a saturated fat, right? So a saturated fat is anything that will solidify at room temperature. I mean, when it's cold and then melt at room temperature. So coconut oil is one of those oils that does that. However, like butter, right? So if butter is cold, it'll be solid, but as it warms up, it melts. So coconut oil does the same thing. And so there's some controversy around whether, you know, it's pretty much like eating butter or some other type of saturated fat. However, it's plant-based, whereas butter is animal fat, right? So that's what people have to keep in mind. So we are going to have these. Yeah, so we're gonna have these onions cooked down. Hopefully you're seeing my pot here. Can I tell y'all something? I think that it's so amazing that you can just cook down some onions and some garlic, and it will smell like you are the most amazing chef that has ever walked the earth. Have you noticed that? Just the smell of onions and garlic, it makes it seem like you are making the most fabulous dish that has ever been created. So I think my neighbors probably think that I'm like the greatest culinary worldwide trained chef, because I start almost every dish with cooking down some onions and garlic because it's such a great base. So I'm gonna let that go for a little bit, and then I'm gonna add my garlic and my ginger, and then I'm gonna add some fennel. And I'll tell you another little secret. So as I was thinking about zhuzhing up my recipe, I was talking to Karen, and she was telling me about how much she loves fennel. How many of you cook with fennel, like fennel, hate fennel? Roseanne, tell me about fennel and what you enjoy or don't enjoy about it. You're muted.
Charlene and Ava mentioned that it was hard for them to find fennel and some of the other ingredients for this recipe.
That's okay. We can always do substitutions. Yeah. I'd love for Roseanne, if you want to unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about fennel.
I'm sorry, I thought I was unmuted.
It's okay.
For the crying, it's from the onion that I just cut. I have a great recipe for fennel potato soup. I use a fennel bulb for that. I also use fresh fennel, sliced very thin in salads. You mix it with citrus like orange. Orange fennel salad is a really good combination. I also use fennel seeds in soup.
Awesome.
And it's really, really great. And I read somewhere that if you put fennel seeds in hot water, it's supposed to be really good for your digestion, but I don't know whether that's accurate or not. I haven't tried it.
So I've actually taken a few Ayurvedic cooking classes, and that is one of the ingredients that is put in teas that's supposed to help with digestion. So Esther, I see you shaking your head. Does anybody know about that as well? Like teas made with fennel? This is a community experience here, folks.
Yeah,
I'm not the expert. I definitely want to hear from you.
In Indian cooking, we do use fennel sometimes in the cooking and also after the meal to chomp on it, and it has like a little sweet coating around it, like this. You see this?
Look at that. Yeah.
Mm.
What are we looking at, Esther? Hold on. Let me spotlight your video.
This is fennel on the inside.
Uh-huh.
There's fennel on the inside, and it's like a sugar coating on the out. It's like
Oh,
something
wow.
sweet on the outside, and you eat it after your meal to freshen and digest.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
That was
So do you make that?
Is it like a licorice?
No, I don't make this. You get it in the Indian store, but you might see it in an Indian restaurant as you're exiting. It's sometimes either just the fennel itself, like you might just see either the fennel itself, or you might see this, that you take a little in your hand kind of and eat it like that as you're exiting. It's like after the meal.
I love that so much. Sharing. We are all sharing together. So folks, just so we're keeping up on the recipe. So I now have my onions, my garlic, and my ginger in my saucepan. So I'm letting all of that just kind of start to cook down a bit. And then I'm going to come in with my fennel seeds and have those toast. I have another question about this recipe. So curry, there's so many varieties of curry. So who's using what type of curry? I know that in this recipe, I have a red curry paste, but there's so many other varieties. Is anybody deciding to use a different type of curry? Esther, what kind do you have there? Jamaican curry. Maria says she's using Jamaican curry.
I'm using Thai.
Yeah, that's what I have as well. So that's the curry that I'm using. It's a Thai. Who else? What kind of curry are you curry powder? Okay. And curry is so interesting, right? Like I recently did a cooking demo, and I just went into a store really quickly and grabbed some curry. And then when I made the recipe, I didn't like it. And it's because the curry had a very different flavor, because curry is basically a mixture of different spices, right? So you've got ginger, coriander, turmeric, cumin, just all these different spices. And depending on where you get the curry, the order or the amount of those ingredients will vary. And so Jamaican curry might be a little bit different from Indian curry, which will be a little bit different from Thai curry. So, you know, my goal is to make my own curry so that I can have the flavor that I enjoy most. Does anybody make their own curry powders or mixtures?
Maria has Madras curry.
Yeah.
They should make. Can you tell us, Maria, what Madras curry is? And Ava is using a mild curry spice paste.
Nice.
So she
and
can
by the way, feel free to unmute yourself and chime
speak.
in.
Yeah, please.
I think it's very similar to an Indian type, because it has coriander seeds, turmeric, chili peppers, cumin, fennel, black pepper, fennel, Greek, cinnamon. So I think it's in the Indian. That's the reason why I got it. You're right. They're very different.
Yeah, they are extremely different.
What's the difference in taste? Like, what is the experience people will have?
I don't know. I've eaten a lot of Indian food and they use curry, and I know that the curry is very different from the Jamaican.
It is. And so it's the order. Like some curries will have more turmeric than others. So that flavor will come to the top, whereas some curries will have more cumin or more of something else. And so depending on how much they put of each spice, that will vary that will vary the flavor. So here are my fennel seeds that I am going to Now add to my pot. I've got my onions, my garlic, my ginger, and now I'm gonna toss in my fennel to let that toast for a bit. Where's everybody else? Do you have your onions and everything in there cooking? I'm gonna put
Can we
myself.
come over to your kitchen and see? I just put the recipe in the chat in case it's helpful for folks to have it. Although some people are saying that they can't look at the recipe and look at us. So we're going to have to walk them through the things. So I see Fiona. Roseanne, how are you coming along?
Cool. So I apologize. I can go through the details of the recipe for you here. So we have our 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. We have about a cup of onion. We have about, let me open up my recipe. It closed on me. We have about 2 to 3 garlic cloves. I love garlic. Karen and I are very similar in that. We both really love garlic. 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. I think it was about a tablespoon of ginger. Karen, do you have the recipe open? My tablet timed out and closed on me.
And
Yes, 1 tablespoon of ginger.
there we go.
Cool, thank you.
Who's that?
Imani, I have the recipe open.
Yeah,
Thank you, Imani.
you.
Awesome. And then, you know, depending on how you enjoy fennel, you can decide if you want to start with maybe half a tablespoon, go up to a tablespoon. It has a kind of licorice flavor to it. So, you know, think about how you like that. So for those of you who weren't able to find fennel, what are you substituting? Are you using something else instead to give the recipe a little zhuzh, as I call it?
To give you some ideas, fennel is one of the warming spices. So anything that you like, you know, that really gives a warming experience to your food, I would add that. Like what comes to mind for me is cumin. I love cumin. That's another one. Yeah, cinnamon.
Yeah, that's nice.
Would work well too. This pumpkin
Cinnamon would
curry.
be nice. Cardamom, you know, because we're basically layering our flavors, right? Because the curry already has cumin. It already has some, depending on which curry you have, it may already have some fennel in it. And so we're basically just layering and building the flavors. So back to my pot here. You can see, hopefully you can get a nice look into my pot. I probably don't have a couple of onions, but I got a little tired of chopping. So it's all good. We have enough onions. We have our garlic. We have our ginger and our fennel. So quick and easy, right? So from here, we are going to start adding our pumpkin and our sweet potatoes. So here's another question I have for you. Sweet potatoes. Karen, can you come back to me over here for a minute?
Yeah.
So sweet potatoes. I have these 2 varieties of sweet potatoes here. Has anybody used this one? Are you familiar with this one? Yeah, I see head shaking. Tell me, Lily, is it Lily?
When I cook with that potato, the food comes out tender, and it just makes me salivate.
Oh my God, I love this potato so much. So there's this one, right? I think this is the one that a lot of folks use here in America. So me and my family, we were born in Guyana. So I grew up here, but this is still a potato. Like this is what I know as a sweet potato growing up.
Sweet potato.
Whereas this is what I think is called a sweet potato here.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it makes me salivate, just like you said. It is so sweet and so yummy. And so
don't they look different on the inside? Isn't the one
they do? Yeah, I can cut them as well. So this potato is, and then I recently discovered, maybe a couple years ago, I discovered a purple sweet potato, which is purple on the outside and the inside. So here, this is a Japanese sweet potato. I think I saw somebody post that in the chat. And then this is, I don't know, is it an American sweet potato? I don't know. So this sweet potato is, I love it. The other night, I just boiled it and added some butter to it, and it was so heavenly.
Yeah.
It was so good.
And oftentimes you'll hear Caribbean folks refer to sweet potato. We're talking about the Japanese.
Yes, the Japanese
provisions. we're making dumpling and yuca, we'll often have this sweet potato in there as well. It's so yum. Whereas the
that
other one I think is
sounds so
called
good.
a yam,
Yams, yes.
right? Yellow yam.
Okay, so
Also good.
my
We love it.
yeah, for sure. So my mixture on the stove there is smelling really good. How about yours? That fennel is really coming through and smelling so good. So tell me, who's cooking? How's it going? I'm gonna get my can opener.
Good, you do that. And I'm gonna come into people's kitchens. Where are we? Where are you at, Ava? Miss Ava. And Miss Angela. Who wants me to come over to their kitchen? Angela?
My squeaky can opener, forgive me. I have so many gadgets in my kitchen, you'd think I would have a better can opener than that.
We're in Angela's kitchen now. Talk to us, Angela. Where are you? In your
Looking good.
She's simmering her curry. It looks really good. Can you do that again for folks that didn't get that quick a peek? So you've got your curry in there. What else do you have? The oil?
Have the coconut oil, the onions.
Yum.
Didn't have the fennel seed. I did get fresh fennel, but I don't have the fennel seed, so I'm waiting on that.
Oh, fantastic. Perfect. I love it. Esther has her curry in there too.
Thank you for reminding me that my curry was also supposed to be added now.
Yay. See? It helps to have multiple readers of the recipe.
Indeed.
I appreciate it. Oh, for folks who are new to us, we should also tell you that Fiona and I, we've been teaching cooking classes like this in person for like, 5-6 years now? But this is our first time having to do it virtually because COVID. And we've learned to adjust how we do things. But in person, it's a very different experience. But we're really glad that folks like you are patient with us as we learn our way around the virtual world and still try to make it as engaging as possible. And what reminds me of that is that typically when we're in person, the recipe is out, everybody is kind of referring to it. We're all, reading and talking together. And this is slightly different, but still we're figuring it out. And
it still feels like we're reading and talking together.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
We thank you for that. And your engagement makes all the difference.
It really does.
Yeah, especially those of you who are able to come on camera. We really appreciate it.
And we appreciate you being here, even if you're not on camera. We get it. I'll tell you. Yeah, until I was forced to be on camera because I have to have Zoom meetings all day long, I would never answer a video call. I'm like,
this is
my time. I don't need to see you right now. But here we are.
Here we are. It's on video. And I don't want on camera either, so I get it.
So I'm just chopping up my divine sweet potato, and I am just going to try to make sure that they're as evenly chopped as possible because that way they'll cook at around the same time. I have a secret that I'm going to share with you. I don't think that I mentioned it to this class. Karen, you may remember this. So we had another class and we were chatting and I was asking folks, is there anything kind of peculiar that you do when you're in the kitchen? Because I have this thing that happens. I love chopping, right? I just find it to be this very meditative thing. Like I just chop and I'm good. And one thing I noticed, I'm chopping, and we always talk about the claw, right? So you use the claw and you do this, you curl your fingers. And one day I was like, my toes also curl when I'm chopping. It's this weird thing. And I don't even know why, but it's like instinctively, as I curl my fingers, my toes will also curl. I know I'm not the only one who has a weird thing.
Your whole body is probably clenched in that case. I'm convinced.
Who else does something that's a little different in the kitchen? It's not just me. Don't make it seem like it's just me, please. Come on, somebody else. Come on. Don't leave me hanging out here by myself. I know I'm not the only one.
My weird quirk is I get really fastidious about cleaning out all the ingredient from my bowl.
Yeah.
Like if I have batter in a bowl, I want to scrape every last bit of it till I don't know why. It's a thing. It's a thing for sure. That's my work.
So we're going to talk about the recipe a little bit, and then I'm going to ask at least one of you, just share it in the chat. You don't even have to say it out loud if you're embarrassed. Just put it in the chat. But for right now, we're going to basically just add the rest of our ingredients. So I have a can of pumpkin that I'm adding. I'm going to add my sweet potatoes that I just diced, my coconut milk. And can I tell you, I love this particular can because I can just pull the top right off, and it's a BPA lining, all that good stuff.
Wait, which
BPA free lining.
BPA free.
Yeah.
Who makes that?
Native Forest. It's a really great brand. And this is simple coconut milk, so it doesn't have anything else added to it. It's just coconut and water. I love that. So we love that when we're reading our labels, right? We don't want tons and tons of ingredients. We want to keep it as simple as possible. We want to know what it is that we're actually putting into our bodies. So I'm adding my pumpkin, my coconut milk, broth. I typically make my own broth, and I feel kind of like but it's fine. So we have some vegetable broth, our maple syrup, lime juice, salt to taste. So then we're just going to throw all of that into the pan. And how easy is that?
Yum.
Alrighty.
Somebody was asking, thank you, Claudia, for not missing this. They're listening and switching between screens while they work. And about back to the sweet potato conversation.
Sure.
So yes, the batata is different from a Japanese sweet potato.
Is
both are really good. Yeah, the batatas they're not like purpley. They're kind of, but they're similar in flavor. The Japanese sweet potato is softer though, whereas the batata, I like to use it and fry it. And you have like the fry, it's like this crunchy sweet situation. It's really yum. Who knows? So I don't know your name, 2126CS, but she's calling it there. Yes, it's also referred to as West Indian sweet potato. I'd love to know how you prepare it. And I want to put the brand of the coconut milk in the chat. What is the name again, Fiona?
It's Native Forest. Karen would be so unhappy with me right now because I actually have a tiny bit of pumpkin left in this can, and I'm not going to spend the next 5 minutes taking it out as she would. I respect that though. Waste not, want not. I'm adding my coconut milk.
So Native Forest is the brand of the coconut milk. I put it in the chat, but it just says Native Forest.
Yeah, here it is. That's
Beautiful.
the coconut milk.
I've never seen that brand before. Nice.
Yeah.
And as far as cooking being a science, and your dad was a chemist, yeah, I'm sure there's truth to that. It's funny. I like to think of cooking more. It's both a science and an art. I don't know, for me, I think of baking more as a science and cooking more as an art, because I feel like it requires more, like you got to pay attention to your measurements, the weight of different things. Like it's a very particular, whereas with cooking, there's more room for playing, more room for experimentation. But I guess it depends on how you come at them. I guess they can both be seen in science.
I wouldn't be here if cooking were science, to be honest with you, because this is my time of, and I don't like this is my time to relax, release. I usually do it with wine, but I'm not doing that at the moment. Hopefully you are. But I usually do it with wine and music, and it's just something that's really enjoyable and nourishing for my soul. So yeah, but I do also like baking, which is more of a science.
You do.
I do. I love baking. Okay, so measuring cup for my broth. So again, I now have my pumpkin, my sweet potato, my coconut milk. By the way, did anybody decide to just roast a pumpkin rather than using it from the can? Because that also would be so delicious if you roasted your own pumpkin. Yeah.
You know what I did, guys? Last Tuesday's class, there was so much of butternut squash, the roasted one. I kept a portion of that for today's puree.
Perfect.
That's so smart. That's brilliant.
So, and in the recipe, I put a half cup to a cup of broth because, you can depend on how thick you want your soup to be. So that's why I put that range in there.
Add some texture.
Yeah, speaking of leftovers, I made some sweet potato and kale fritters this weekend, and I have some sweet potato, this one, as a matter of fact, this type of sweet potato left over. So I'm just gonna toss it in with my soup as well. Why
Okay.
not? That's one of the things I love about soup is that you can just put all kinds of things in it. Alrighty, how's it coming along in everybody's kitchen? Do you have all of those ingredients in there? I still need to add my
Ooh, Fiona, your
maple.
camera went out. It seems. Oh, no, it didn't. It's me.
Oh yeah, no, it's not you. I
Yeah.
still need to add my maple syrup and my lime. Give me 1 second. It was a phone
Okay.
call coming in, so.
Okay. Welcome to virtual classes.
Mhm.
This is the nature of things, right? It's
There we
all
go.
good. Ta-da. Yeah.
This smells so good. Now that I think I just have a thing for coconut. Now that we've added that coconut milk on top of the coconut oil, it smells so divine. How's it going in
Yeah.
your kitchen?
Who wants to share with us?
Can show us
Who's
if you
that?
want.
Yeah.
Esther?
Oh, Esther?
Yeah.
I'm coming to you, Esther. There we are. And who's cooking with you?
She's
You got her.
this is Emily, my niece.
Hi, Emily.
Hello.
Welcome to the class. Glad you're here. So what's happening in the pot? Hi, we see you.
We are adding the lemon right now.
Ooh, what's in there already?
Oh,
I'm also
Yeah,
adding my lemon.
it's a nice yellow color. What all is in there right now, Esther?
so
Looks
I
like you
put a
have your-
butternut squash.
Okay.
And I did not realize that you need puree and sweet potato. So instead of sweet potato, I just put a regular potato.
Yeah, that's great. The
That's
potato
fine.
just adds a little more texture to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, I can't wait for y'all to taste this. I love the curry, the color of your soup, Fiona. It's nice and bright.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
That's good.
didn't use as much red curry paste just because I ran out of it. So it would have been even brighter, but
Mm.
all good. All good. So that's basically everything that we need for the curry. You know, just put salt to taste. And while that's simmering, well, we're going to bring it to a boil and then we're going to have it simmer.
Okay.
But definitely taste it and adjust your flavors now. Curious to hear what people think.
Ooh, I see you tasting, Roseanne. How is it? Where are you?
The fennel isn't coming through for me. I'm not sure that I used a full tablespoon. Are you all having that fennel come through for you? Those of you who are using it?
You may want to add a little bit more, Roseanne. Fiona, rather.
Yeah.
Roseanne, how did that taste for you? We're in your kitchen. I hope you don't mind. I
We're
could leave.
seeing you. We're seeing you, Karen.
Huh?
We're actually seeing you. Your spotlight.
Me.
Okay, sorry.
Or
about-
me now.
I wasn't getting the fennel taste at all, so I'm putting.
Yeah. Same here. I wasn't getting the fennel. So if you really want that to come through, you may need to add more than a tablespoon.
Yeah, add more.
I'm getting lots and lots of coconut, which I'm okay with. I am in love with coconut.
Yeah. Yeah, Alexis, it might be because the curry is stronger. Why 1 tablespoon of fennel may not do it. So it depends on how strong your curry is. So that's why we always encourage tasting as you go. Yes.
For the toppings, it also has fennel. It has a 4th cup. I know that's like for a different part of it, but I don't know if that's helpful to know.
Yeah, we wanted to layer flavors. We intended to do that 2 times. So yes, you have the option to add more fennel here if you like some, or wait until the garnish is added.
And for those of you who aren't using fennel, what's the flavor like for you? What's coming through if you didn't use the fennel?
Oh.
Anybody else who didn't use fennel can tell us what you added instead? Everybody's busy cooking. I get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
You're like, we don't have time to talk. We're cooking. I get it.
You're busy. You get it. we want to finish an hour and a half this time too. So
we'll
there are a
finish.
few people who
We'll finish
who
sooner.
came in a little, who are just joining us. So we want to welcome you. Hi, welcome to In the Kitchen with WorkWell, and we're beautifully fed food. And we're making a curry butternut squash soup. So you're just on time. Feel free, if you are cooking with us, let us know. If you can come on camera, that's great. If you can't, that's fine too. We're just happy to have you. And feel free to come off mute and share, you know, what you're thinking about, what this inspires you to do in your own kitchen. Share that in the chat or come off mute and share that with us live. We'd love to hear your voices. And we're so glad.
Hi, my name is Nakia. I was driving because I had to take my dog to the vet. And so I'm not cooking. I wanted to watch because I want the recipe and see what it's supposed to look like. Thanks.
Fantastic. Oh, so glad
Okay.
you could join us.
Okay.
Drive safely. Okay.
All right.
Cool. By the way, I should have mentioned this before, but make sure your potatoes are diced pretty small so that they'll cook quickly. I probably didn't dice mine small enough, but it's okay. Hi, Nakia. Good to have you.
Yeah.
Ava, tell me what's going on in your kitchen because you're
Exactly.
always doing something fabulous and we need to know what it is.
She's probably making garnish already.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Tell us what you're doing. How did you change it up? What did you add?
Hold
We
on a
need to
second. Let
know.
me get into Ava's
Okay,
kitchen.
so
Ava,
here's
we're coming
mine.
over to you.
Okay.
Can you
And
see her
yours,
now?
yeah, it's nice and thick. So tell me what
It
you did to
is.
make yours so thick.
I put the whole can of the pumpkin, and I also added I had some leftover butternut squash from the pizza party last week. So
Smart.
I think that's what made it a little bit thicker. I think I'm gonna have to add some more water though, because this is real thick. Because I thought I was gonna be able to use my immersion blender, but I'm gonna have to break out the Vitamix because this.
You know what? That's actually the texture that I would like. I would actually prefer it to be that thick, but yeah.
But it's
definitely
it
have
tastes
flexibility.
it tastes amazing. It tastes so good.
Yeah.
What is
What
it
did
about
you?
the taste? Yeah, tell us if you can describe it. What would you say?
So it's like it has like a tang to it because I put I didn't have an actual lime. I had this lime. So I put it in there.
Okay.
And it had a little bit of a tang to it, which I like. My flavor profile is bitter. I like bitter flavors and sour. So it tastes it kind of tastes like that. And then I get the sweetness from the coconut milk, so it's balancing out pretty nicely. I didn't have vegetable broth, so I used this this better than bouillon.
Oh, I love better than bouillon.
And I put that in there to give it the salt, and then I'm just kind of tasting it now to see what it needs. So
yeah,
I added
nice.
a little bit more fennel seeds. I just added some more salt. I'm probably gonna do a little bit more lime just to balance the flavors a little bit more and
For
let it cook down. Like you, Fiona, I didn't cut my potatoes that small, so that's why I think I'm gonna have to break out the Vitamix.
Yeah. And so this is a perfect example of the fact that we say the recipe is a guide. It's a starting point. I say that every single time I do a cooking class or a demo. It's just something to give you a starting point, and then you adjust your taste from there.
Exactly.
All
Thanks so
right,
much for letting us in your kitchen, Ava.
Thank you.
That looks amazing.
So I want us to keep moving to honor everyone's time and so that we are not starving. While our soup is boiling and the potatoes cooking and everything, I want us to get started on our topping. So was everybody able to get their pears? Because you could also use apples or something else here, but I really, really liked it a lot with the pear. And the recipe said to peel the pear, but I'm actually not going to. I'm going to leave the skin on. And I wanted to try to actually cook this down to see how I would like it compared to having it raw beforehand, and I didn't get a chance to. So that's okay. Maybe one of you can try it and let us know how you like it cooked as well, because that's an option. But we thought that, the cold raw compared to the nice warm soup would be a nice contrast. So that's what we're going to do. So is everybody ready to move on to our topping, our garnish for the soup? Looks like people are doing pretty well in their kitchens. Nice. Okay, so I am just going to get my pears ready. I'm gonna dice them fairly small. You don't have to. If you want them to be chunkier, you can do that. But I want mine to be kind of small.
Cool.
Oh, by the way, there was something that I wanted to mention to you all. If you've been to our classes, you already know this. So the ginger was already prepared when I started, but I did want to make sure that all of you know about peeling your ginger with a spoon, right? If you've been to our classes, you know that this is a great way to peel your ginger so that you're not losing very much of it, and it's so super easy. So if you need to, I just have ginger flying everywhere, and that's okay. So if you need to prep more ginger, try using a spoon to peel it. It's so easy and so perfect. And if there are any other kitchen tips and tricks that you can share with us, please do. We love hearing more and more about tips and tricks.
Definitely. Somebody was asking Fiona, Alexis wants to know how do you cook down the pear? Is that what you're going to show us?
Actually, I'm gonna do it raw, but basically, like if you're gonna do like an apple compote or something like that, how you would put it on the stove with some water and then all the other ingredients to kind of cook it down and let it get soft. So that's another consideration for this.
Yay, somebody else just learned the ginger technique with a spoon. That was new for some folks, so we're glad to hear it.
Awesome.
Fun.
So I'm preparing my pear. Hopefully you all are somewhere
Fiona,
around here. Hi, Esther.
can you show us how small to cut the pear?
So, I mean, I think this is a preference. I personally want mine to be about this small.
Okay.
But maybe you want yours to be chunkier on the top.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Do whatever you're doing.
The power! Oh my God! Imagine if I had that kind of power in life.
I love it. This is great.
How's everybody doing, by the way? You know, this is making me so happy right now because I have to tell you, I am so over this pandemic. You know, when it first started, I was like, oh, you know, we all, and you know, absolutely, my heart, the pause, and my heart goes out to anyone who was actually affected by it or lost a family member or a job or anything. So it was definitely tough for some people, and my heart goes out to them.
And continues to be.
And continues to be. I was thankful for the pause because my life is usually so crazy busy. And so I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I started cooking so much more at home and it was great. And now I'm like, okay, it's November. What is happening?
Why are we
I've had enough.
Yeah.
How's everybody else feeling? Because that's where I am right now. That is truly how I'm feeling. And I'm just trying to find ways to stay positive and maybe finally do all of those home improvement things that I said I was going to do back in February that never happened, or March that never happened. How about the rest of you? How are you coping?
COVID is not, says Elizabeth. Exactly. It's not.
It's not. It's really not.
Everybody's in the same place.
I just hate the isolation.
Yeah, right?
So that's why something like this is so great, because I actually see people's faces. I'm interacting with people. And that's really what I miss more than anything.
Yeah. And that's really why we ask people to turn on their cameras and to interact with us, because it's filling that void for so many of us, you know, like that connection is so critically important. I mean, you can exercise, you can eat well, but if you don't have social connection in your life, that actually shortens the years of your life. And so I'm really thankful that we have the chance to come together and do this as well.
Especially as the temperatures drop and it gets colder outside. I know for me, this is my first time seeing people outside of my home today. So yeah, it really is meaningful to so many of us. Like me.
Yeah, for sure.
The isolation
I'm
is what
afraid to say I'm waiting for 2021 because I feel like every year since 2016, it's like, oh, this year is horrible. I can't wait for the next year. And then the next year comes and then it's worse. So I'm
That's
afraid.
funny.
I'm afraid to say I
Yeah.
can't wait for this year to be over because I don't know what's gonna happen next.
Oh,
Right.
this one was pretty bad.
Right.
My God.
I feel like it's been bad since 2016. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
This
I'm
is
sorry.
real. You know what?
No,
It's
we
real.
get
I
it.
think that it's
It's
so
real.
important to be positive, but we also have to acknowledge those real feelings that we have, right?
Yeah.
So it's like acknowledge where you are and just commit to moving forward from wherever you may be. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to do because I'm over it, like super duper over it. But I'm
And
moving forward.
that is valid. That is so very valid.
Yeah.
Hold on, catching up in the chat really quickly. What did I miss? Somebody keeps the ginger in the freezer. So do I. Great tip for storage. Elizabeth, yes, please turn your camera on, even if you're not cooking. You don't have to have your camera on just for cooking. We just want to see faces.
Yeah.
Hey, so we see you. There you are, honey. Welcome. Welcome to the room.
Yes.
Even if you don't have your camera on, but it's just nice to see faces. And Jean says they don't cook much, but when they get the time, they love to bake. Although that hasn't happened in a while. Yeah, we get that. Just got into this time. Jean's just watching, but maybe next time Jean will cook with us.
Amazing.
Thank you.
But you're engaging, so thank you for chatting with us.
Yeah, talking to us in the chat. This counts. And Thea says that it's great that Zoom, FaceTime, Skype, and WhatsApp all exist. Yay, technology.
For sure. I couldn't stand any of this before because I'm like, wait, but my lipstick isn't on. I'm not ready. Now, yeah, I still put my lipstick on. It's all good. I just make sure it's ready, that I'm ready.
Okay. And a lot of folks are asking about how to get the recipes before the session. And WorkWell is responding in the chat. Thank you so much, Marissa. But I'll just announce this for folks who are here in case you're not seeing the chat or, you're just not sure. So if you register for the classes, like at least a day before the class, you will be included in the email list that go out. And typically the emails are sent out the weekend before the class starts. So Marissa, maybe you should come off and share with folks since you have the details, because I don't know when exactly the emails are.
Yeah, so usually the Friday morning before class. So we like to give you the weekend to prepare, get your ingredients and whatever else you need in order. So if you sign up for, when you sign up, you pick which sessions you want to attend, and if you're already registered, you will get the recipe the Friday before.
Yay.
And if you have any questions or concerns, you can email us. We can send it to you. We definitely want people to cook along with Fiona and Karen.
Yeah. Next week is going to be super cool. Karen is going to do a Thanksgiving, or, if you honor that day, if you recognize that day, she's going to be doing a holiday themed side dish, right?
Yes, I am. We're making our fennel stuffing of sorts. Stuffing is my favorite Thanksgiving dish.
Yes.
I typically feel guilty eating it because of all the bread. So this time we're going to use fennel, farro rather. Farro as I got fennel on the mind, y'all. We're going to use farro as our starch. So this should be really good. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And this, somebody mentioned they're really happy that you're making the soup, Fiona. They're not able to join, but they said this would be a great appetizer for Thanksgiving too. So yeah, we've got Thanksgiving and we're thinking about you all, thinking of ways to support you for the holiday. I'm curious, what are folks doing for the holiday? This is a very different year for the holidays. Like what are your plans? How are you gonna handle it given that COVID is still with us? And the rates are increasing. I'll tell you, for me, I made a decision. My nephew and my brother are sad with me, but my nephew has a new baby and they live in North Carolina. And I wanted to go and be there. My brother was going to go too. It was only going to be about 8 of us with his wife. But with the cases rising the way that they are and me not being sure about what's happening in the airports, I said, you know what? I'm just not going
to wait a few minutes.
Yeah, I'll just wait it out. And I think everybody has to make the decision for themselves. But and now I'm left to figure out what does it mean for me to stay here for Thanksgiving. So I'm thinking about that now.
Who's that
Yeah.
cat?
So I'm one of those people who's been like rebelling against the holidays. I'm like, every day is supposed to be Thanksgiving. What is this about? It's just a commercial. So, yeah, I have a lot going on. And so I feel like it's not as meaningful for me, you know? So I'm just like, I'm just gonna hang out at home.
Where's the cat?
Just have a
Wait,
day off.
who's that? Hold on a second, Fiona. There's some background noise that's coming in. Something about a cat. I want to mute you, but I can't find
Oh,
you. Is that you, Thea?
yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I forgot the mic was on and the cat came here.
It's okay,
No
but
worries.
you're sharing your home with us, so we understand.
And you're sharing your home with the cat. We get
I
that.
tried. She moved too fast.
Has
Thank
anybody
you.
started the topping? Curious to know, cardamom. Who likes cardamom? Who uses this? Like, tell me your experience with cardamom.
Oh,
Yeah, Esther, of course. Tell me, Esther.
So we put cardamom besides putting it in food. So we put it in, like, if you're making a biryani or a pulao, you know, you put it initially. You put you just stir fry some onions, not until they're brown, and then you put the whole spices, which is cardamom, cinnamon, and clove, and then you put in your rice, and it always tastes.
ooh.
But besides that, like I was just going to say, we make a sweet potato dish where we combine sweet potato, cardamom, coconut milk, and this thing called jaggery. You know what is
Yes, yes, I do know jaggery.
I don't know
That
it.
in
What's that?
Guyana. Esther, go ahead.
basically just boil the sweet potato, cube the sweet potato and boil it. And then you pour in coconut milk, cardamom to give you that, you know, I don't know, to give you whatever you want to get from it.
Yeah.
And then the jaggery. I'll show you what is jaggery.
Okay.
So, who
That's
has anybody started
good.
on the topping? I'm curious to know how it's going for you. I'm gonna taste mine shortly.
Okay.
Here's the jaggery.
Like brown sugar, but it's not sugar. It's like healthier
Right.
than sugar.
It's a sweetener.
It's a sweetener. It's a natural sweetener?
Yeah, so I use it in my coffee and in those kinds of things, like a homemade tea time sweet or whatever, like with the sweet potato.
I like this topping. Has anybody else made it? Roseanne, did you start the topping yet?
I'm in the middle.
Okay, how about you, Ava?
I'm actually gonna skip the topping.
The topping is so good.
I mean, I don't have any pears. I do have some apples. I work in a school and I got some school apples. Maybe I'll use that.
School apples. I haven't had those.
I didn't know that was an apple variety.
What flavor is that? School apple.
Because they already come in a pack and they're already cut. Like the Mott's apples, like they're pre-cut already.
I got that.
Okay, so my topping is done. It is so super simple, y'all. I mean, it's really just the pears, the fennel, the ginger, the maple syrup, squeeze of lime. But the cardamom, that is what just does it. The cardamom.
I want some. I can see how that could just be like a relish that you could eat by itself. As a topping to just about anything. Oh,
yeah, it's so good.
What made you make the decision not to cook it and to have it raw like that, Fiona? What informed that decision?
The contrast, you know, of like the nice, warm, hearty soup, but then like the crunch and the
freshness. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's delicious. So I put last week's recipe in the chat because folks were asking for it, just so you know. And Marissa put the video from last week in there too.
Nice. So my potatoes are doing pretty good. How is your soup coming along? Are you all ready to blend? I'm actually not going to blend mine. I want my soup to be a little chunkier, so I'm not going to blend mine. But if
Yeah.
you want your soup to be creamy, definitely blend it. I want to feel like I'm eating something, so I don't want my
Right? I'm the same way. I tend not to
Mhm.
blend my soups. I like the texture, all the textures.
Yeah. Angela, how's it going in your kitchen?
Angela, can we come check it out? Do you mind?
All right, here we go. Okay, so there's my, I use apples, not pears.
You made the garnish. Yum.
Yep.
That's pears.
Garnish.
Those are
And
pears.
here's the soup.
Yum.
sorry.
Ooh, I
Can
love
you
the
see it?
color.
There you go.
Ooh.
Bubble,
Did
bubble.
you? Yeah. Did
Bubble,
you try
bubble.
the pears yet?
I did it with apple.
You did it with apple. How
Have
do
you
you like it?
have
Did
you
you put
tasted
the
it?
cardamom and everything else? How do you
I
like
put
it?
everything else, fennel, everything, only with apple, and it's delicious. You're right.
Yeah, it's so good. Alrighty.
Wait, is it
so
time to eat?
is it time to eat?
Oh my gosh.
I am just going to, so I'm over here at my pot, and I'm just going to, since I'm not going to blend mine, I'm just going to use my spoon to mash the potatoes that I put in there so that I can still have
I'll
some
see that.
texture and some chunk. Yeah, so I'm just mashing the potatoes.
I should for folks who may have just joined or they're new to our classes, you should know there are two videos being spotlighted. There's Fiona where she's looking at us, and then there's also a camera angle where you can see Fiona's pot. So we are spotlighting it, so you should be able to see both in the frame. And right now she's tilting the pot so you can see it.
Yeah.
You get a sense of what the texture looks like for her. Again, you
Yeah.
make it the texture that you want. If you want to blend it some more, do that. But this looks nice and creamy.
And creamy. So
and what?
It's creamy, but still texture, you know? Like, I mean,
So
again, the
weird.
recipe mentions blending. I'm not going to blend mine. You can feel free to do that, or you can keep a little chunk to yours if you like.
Can you lift it up in the spoon so we can see how it drips off of the spoon just to get a sense of, there you go. Now we can see the texture that's in there. Got it.
So I'm still just going to go ahead and work through and mash my potatoes in there. And also, for those of you who just joined, I was talking about the fact that I use a Japanese sweet potato, and I learned something new today because I actually thought that the Japanese potato and the batata were the same, but they're not. So
they're not.
But I use a Japanese sweet potato, which I just love, love, love. It's so sweet and so just divine.
That did look delicious, Angela. Ava says so too. Oh wait, Fiona's got a backless shirt. Somebody's making a comment about your backless shirt, Fiona.
Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to...
Esther says now we're known as the backless cooks.
The backless. We have to keep it going next week.
Hey, wonder what the wardrobe will be like next week. We gotta step up our game,
It has to be backless. What do you mean? Y'all, I got this apron just for today. I was like, Karen had her cutesy little whatever last week. I'm like, I gotta step up my game and get a little cute apron going.
It matters. It matters. All of this is how we comfort ourselves, people. It all matters.
So I wanted to also share something else with you all. So in addition to, you know, cooking, I'm also a fitness instructor, even though my arms don't look anything like Karen's because I've been slacking off for the last 8 months. But so I'm a fitness instructor, and I actually do classes with Shape Up NYC, which is a program of New York City parks. And I'm doing a walking group. It's on Wednesdays. If any of you live in the Crown Heights, Prospect Heights area, we meet at the Ronald McNair Park, which is right next door to the Brooklyn Museum. Come out and walk with me. Part of the reason that I do this is to motivate myself, because I find that I'm not, like, I like doing things in groups, you know? So when I have folks to exercise with, to walk with, to move with, then I'm more consistent with it. So join me, please. Just do it for me, because I need to lose about 10 pounds. So do it for me. If not for you, do it for me.
Need to or want to.
What time on Wednesdays?
Oh, so it's Wednesdays at 5 p.m. That's the time that I have right now, you know, but depending on what works for folks, it's just, you know, I didn't want to do it later because it's dark, but it's dark at 4 o'clock anyway. So, you know, if I find that a little bit later works because people are still working and needing time to get there, then I may push the time back. but for now it is 5 o'clock. And WorkWell is going to help us promote those classes as well. And the only reason I want to lose weight is because I know where my body is comfortable. You know, it's not about being skinny. It's not about having my bones showing. It's just about being at a weight where I feel comfortable and I know that my health is best. And so that's why I know I got to lose about 10 pounds, because I've been baking. And so at the beginning of the pandemic, I was comforting by baking at midnight, like every night without fail. At midnight, I'd be like, "Oh, it's time for cookies."
It's time for cookies. It's like your body.
Okay, I'm gonna stop talking and check in. Where are we? Are we ready to serve our soup with our topping, or has anybody tried it yet?
Who's
Sorry,
eating?
where is that walking what you are doing? I am Maggie. Agota.
Hey, Maggie. Hold on a second, Maggie. Where are you? We want to come over to you.
No, you don't have to. I am doing totally different. I am doing salad, but where is that walking thing?
Oh, you want to know more about the walk?
Yeah, and so my particular group, by the way, there are other walking groups as well. So you should definitely check out the Shape Up NYC website if you're not in this area. But my group is going to be meeting. It's at the Ronald McNair Park. I'm going to look it up. I was supposed to do this before we started. But if you know where the Brooklyn Museum is on Eastern Parkway, it's right next door to that. It's a small park, and we'll do, we'll walk, but then there are also steps there. So we'll do some steps. We'll do a little bit of cardio. So
yes, it's on Classen between President and Union.
There you go.
No, it's the Parkway. I'm saying the wrong name then, because it's not that one. It's the one, that's the one that's right across the street from me. It's not that one.
Oh, okay.
It is on.
Good to know.
It is on Eastern Parkway. So
by the library, Mount Prospect Park?
Mount Prospect Park. Thank you, Ava.
There we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, my husband knew exactly what you were talking about. So thank you.
Thank you, hubby. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, hubby.
Yeah, I was doing it at Prospect Park, but since it's so dark, I didn't want to be in such a large park. So this one is just manageable, where we can get out, we can move, and then we can carry on with our evenings.
I see.
So yeah.
Some people are saying that they're not in Brooklyn and they can't attend, but Shape Up does this throughout the boroughs, right?
Check out Shape Up NYC. And like I said, I think that WorkWell is going to be sending something out tomorrow to promote it, but just get out and move. I really, really, truly believe in a holistic approach to wellness. We have to eat well, we have to move well, and then we need to connect.
We need to connect.
It's really a three-pronged approach, I think.
And support one another in doing it. And sometimes all it is, calling a friend or two and encouraging them to walk with you, or calling you to walk with them. Even these classes, Fiona and I talk all the time about how showing up for you all for these classes is encouraging us to cook for ourselves when we may not do it necessarily, even though we know it's good for us. The motivation sometimes just isn't there because COVID and and winter and it's cold, like so many reasons. But yes, so do whatever you need to do. Do what you need to do to hold yourselves accountable and be held accountable, and and then be patient and generous with yourself, because it's hard.
For sure.
Wait. Before you show food stuff, people are saying or sharing about Thanksgiving and what folks are doing, and then they want to know how to cut fennel. So first, let's say a lot of people who are sharing or saying that it's safer to stay home, and that's what they'll be doing, and we totally get that. And yes, love all the ways that you're doing it. And back to the fennel. So we're using fennel, the fennel seeds, the seeds from the fennel. But yes, fennel is actually also a vegetable, right?
Yeah, we use the fresh fennel as well, Karen. We did. Chop up some of the fresh.
Why they miss how you cut it, and what parts did you use?
So Karen, I actually want you to talk about this, since you are such a fennel fanatic.
I love fennel. So, and it's been a minute since I cut it. So you remove, I don't remember. Is it the outer layers? Like there's a part of it that you definitely want to move away, and then you cut it. And I like to cut it in small pieces, and I make a ice out of it essentially. And you use the white parts. Use all the white parts, Ellen. And it's really tasty, and you can cook it. You can eat it not fully cooked, like a little bit raw, because it has a nice crunch to it. So I don't want to cook it too much. It has the texture kind of like a cabbage, where it has that. And the flavor, like many folks have shared already, is like a licorice situation. It's what I love about fennel is the fact that it reminds me of the taste that's inside of sausages, because it has that that anise licorice sort of flavor. And actually sausages are made with fennel or anise seeds. And so whenever I'm craving sausage but don't want to eat sausage, or I've already had my sausage, take for the month, I'll do fennel, and it really does give me that same experience, the feeling of it. Plus, it just has so many good nutritional benefits. So yay, fennel. Please start cooking with it. It's really delicious. Especially with the curry and this I can't wait to taste the soup. I've never made it, but I was telling Fiona I had just experimented with curry, fennel, and cinnamon, and I had no idea that the flavors went so well. I was like, somebody else has to be doing this. This must be a common thing, because it's freaking phenomenal. And then who knows the flavor combination 5-spice, the Chinese 5-spice.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of heads nodding. That's in there. Fennel, cinnamon. They also use cardamom. Cardamom is in there too. So yeah, all the warming spices together, they go together. They go well together. So play around, experiment. Yeah. We highly encourage you play with your food.
So who is blending? Are you blending your soup, or I think Esther, you're serving now, huh? Is anybody else
serving? I want to see. Is that Esther? We're coming to your kitchen, Esther.
I have a meeting at 7 o'clock, so I have to eat before.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Angela says she can't stop munching on the topping. Isn't it good? I am loving this too. Yeah.
Look at that. Oh.
Yum.
Oh, that's yum. So you put your apples on top? Is that apples or pears? What do you have?
Pears.
Pears? Can you take a bite? You left yours really nice and chunky. Can you take a bite so I can see?
It's too hot.
It's too hot.
It's so funny with
almost burned my tongue.
Okay, we don't want you to burn yourselves. Blow on it, please.
Esther, I'm also curious to know, how much fennel did you end up using to really make that flavor come through, if you did?
I think I added little. I just eyeballed it. I didn't use the teaspoon, but I think it was like a little bit less than 1 teaspoon.
1 teaspoon?
Little bit less than 1 teaspoon. And even
Can you use the seeds?
Yeah, I didn't use I did not know that we needed fresh and seeds.
Oh, no, I'm just curious.
In my topping, I don't have the fresh, because it never, I don't know, it never said fresh. It just said 1/4 cup of fennel. And I was like, how would I ever put 1/4 cup of these seeds in? So I didn't even think about buying fennel.
Thank you for that. Thank you. We absolutely should have noted that it was supposed to be fresh.
I didn't.
Roseanne, how much did you end up using?
Wait. She just took a bite. How was that, Esther?
Oh, it was so good. Actually, the pears kind of lightly cook on top of the hot sauce soup.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for sharing with us.
And not only delicious, but very unique. Like, to put these, you wouldn't have thought of putting these 2 things together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet and savory, y'all.
I told you all, Karen challenged me last week, because I said, because at first we were going to put apples in the soup and do something that would have been tasty, but I was like, oh no, we need to take this up a notch. So I'm glad that we did.
I'm glad that you did. And now the only problem with this setup is that I'm not at your house so that I can taste them. And so I'm the one who's salivating and mad because I have no food to eat.
Okay, so I am going to serve my soup now. If you want to come over to my pot. Like I said, I kept mine chunky, so you can see I have lots of chunks in mine.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
That's really good.
Right? Looks so rich and satisfying.
Yeah.
Bring your cup down a little bit, Fiona, so we can see it filling up. Perfect. Your cup or your bowl.
Maple, yeah. So I'll come back over here and add my topping. This topping is so good, Angela. I'm with you. Like I just keep munching and munching, munching. And part of the reason that I wanted my soup to be a little thicker is so that the pear would actually sit on top of it. I didn't want it to just head on down to the bottom. So there is my soup topped with my pears.
Yum.
Yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum.
I didn't have any fresh fennel. So in the topping, I put in.
Ooh. Hold on, Roseanne. I want to come over to your kitchen so I can see you. So we can all see you.
I put in a few of these, which I'll take out before I serve. Because that way I'll get the licorice, a little bit of the licorice flavoring. So this
I was
is
just talking about that.
Nice, nice.
It is so yum. It's so yum.
Yeah. Can we see you take a bite on camera?
I don't think it's going to last until I get to the soup.
I'm gonna eat it all by itself.
All by itself. It's really good.
I love that topping, but it's so good with the soup. Oh my god, this is really good.
I can see you putting that topping on top of granola.
Yeah.
When the soup is done, like in the morning for breakfast, you could have.
Somebody mentioned putting it on top of oatmeal as well. Yeah.
Totally.
Oh, I'm enjoying this so much. So much.
Okay, so wait. So Fiona, so now you have it with the soup and the thing. What's happening? What's your experience? How is it?
Love it. I love the crunchiness. So even though like I have the chunkiness in the soup a little bit, that added crunchiness just gives it texture, and then the contrast between like the, like Ava was saying, the contrast in the flavors, even though she's not doing the topping, but I'm really loving this so much.
Awesome. Between the cold and the hot too.
Yeah.
So and Esther
made a great point that the pears do start to soften up a little bit when you put them on top of the hot soup. So it's nice. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I wanted to share a favorite cooking tool that I have.
Ooh, we love tools. Hold on.
Oh yeah, your Zesta.
Oh, your microplane.
This is my microplane. This is my favorite device, my favorite kitchen tool. I use this to grate ginger, and I also a while ago discovered that it is really great to use this for grating garlic. I like this a lot better than a garlic press. It's a lot easier to use, a lot neater. It's not messy. So if you haven't got one of these, highly recommended.
Yes, Roseanne. Tell the people.
Yeah.
We love it too.
Really good.
Oh, Angela's saying she loves the crunchy contrast of apples. Angela mentioned that in the chat.
I have one. I have one of those.
You have what?
I have one of those graters that she just showed. And I use it all the time. I think it's great.
Wow.
All right. So who else is ready to show us their dish? Ava, I see you've come close. Are you coming to unmute yourself to show us your fabulousness? Okay, y'all get ready. Ava,
y'all are so crazy. Okay, so I didn't do the topping, but I did.
Ooh.
See this?
You see how she does this?
Exactly.
Oh yeah. I don't have time. I'm not gonna use how I don't. But look at this. What did you do? It's a salad topping.
I just put salad topping.
Pepitas.
Yes, pepitas, cranberries, sesame sticks, sunflower seeds, walnuts. I put that in there, and a little bit of parsley. So that's
there also cranberries on top.
Yes, there are cranberries.
Got it.
And then in this bowl, I did.
See already. We're making one dish here. This trick has two bowls. Okay, go ahead.
That looks good.
Bye, Angela. See you next time.
I did a drizzle of almond milk on top, some parsley and some almonds.
Wow.
Mm.
Will you and your husband take a taste of each one and let us know how it is?
Okay. It's tasting time.
It's taste time.
Okay, you gotta do it for the camera. You gotta
do it for the camera.
Don't be shy. Yes, it was my husband's idea to put the salad topping on there.
Really? Oh, he made sure you told us that, right?
He must get his cred. So
yeah, don't blame him.
So here he is tasting.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we eat with our eyes first, so this all matters.
With the cranberry.
You like it?
The crunch.
Okay.
You like the crunch?
He likes the crunch of the idea of his salad topping.
yeah. His idea. Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and taste.
Okay, Ava, how's yours?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What is it? Wait, we want to see your face.
Oh my god.
Yeah?
It's so good.
Oh, good. I ended up adding I really taste the fennel now because I blended it in the blender.
Right.
So it brought out the flavor of the fennel. So I really taste it now. And then I ended up because I was telling you guys earlier it was a little bit bitter. So I ended up adding some more syrup to balance out a little bit of the bitterness.
Good tip, y'all.
So I get the sweet and I also get the fennel. I'm tasting that like in the back. I taste all of that here.
Y'all, so this potato, go ahead, Ava. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. And the little milk I drizzled on top tasted really good. It added, even though it was the unsweetened almond milk, it added a nice
nice creaminess.
Nice sweetness, a nice mouthfeel, so to speak.
Nice. She knows about mouthfeel, y'all. Yeah, it's all about like the texture, the whole experience. You want to be able to with all your senses, right? Your eyes, your nose, your mouth, like it all matters. And I love it's one soup, and she did it in 2 different ways to create 2 different experiences, all in the same time it took to make the one. So think about that.
Yeah, the toppings made all the difference, right? So I just have to give another plug for this one because again, this is the sweet potato that I use. And my soup is so sweet and yummy. Like this just amped up the sweetness. I mean, if you're into sweetness, I am. This really amped it up, this potato. So I would, if you haven't tried it, again, it's a Japanese sweet potato. It is so good. Definitely try it. Lily and I, we really endorse it.
Lily knows. This is so amazing. Thank you, everybody.
It's been so amazing to finally be the one leading these classes with you. You know, I've been the sous chef and the tech assistant, and so it's been so much fun to be in front of the camera and cooking with you and having you enjoy a recipe that is somewhat new to me. I mean, I've made curry coconut soup before, but like I said, I wanted to zhuzh it up a little bit for this, and I'm so glad that you challenged me to do that because I am loving this, and I will definitely make this again and again. And this topping, it's everything. Even without the soup, I'm gonna make this topping. And
hello.
Even if you don't make the soup, you gotta try the topping. It's so good.
Awesome.
Yes. So thank you so much for being such a wonderful cooking and eating with us tonight. It's been so amazing. I hope to see you back again next week and the week after that.